Greetings all, and welcome back to the channel where I don't apparently learn nothing. Yes, folks, that's right. After the great debacle that was my Sony STR-840 receiver, in which finally, after way too long, I figured out exactly what the problem was, I decided what better way to celebrate my newfound knowledge than to buy another one. So here we are today with this Yamaha RX-V671 with an identity crisis. And I say identity crisis because that's what happens when you see this on the display of one of these things. They have forgotten exactly what receiver they are, and you've got to get in there and reprogram it like the factory did. Now, before I do that, how much did I pay for this thing? Well, it was 20 bucks. Cost me more to ship it here than it cost me to buy it. It was found in Whitehorse, of all places. So I thought, well, maybe this will be a good challenge. And if I can get it working, then maybe I can see how good it sounds, because I am strongly considering Yamaha as my next home theater receiver for the main home theater. And I just kind of want to see how they sound. But that presumes we can get this one working. Now, what do we do to fix this issue? And are there any other issues to fix? Well, we'll get to those other potential issues by and by, but for the time being, I have already opened up the, or rather, I've already taken the screws out just so we can get into this thing a little faster. Now, the programming method we use to get this thing to remember what it is involves bridging a couple of solder connections on the digital board, which is this board up here. Now, it's like this on multiple Yamaha receivers. I don't know how many exactly, but I do know some of the Avantage units are like this, and many of the newer units are like this. This one dates from about 2012. But what we're looking for on the main board is a couple of solder pads labeled R896, I think. And on this particular receiver, sometimes it's found in this corner, sometimes it's, anywhere. But on this particular receiver, let's see if I can zoom you in. It is right there. Anyway, that's where it is. Let's see if I can find something to point with. I'll use a Q-tip. Okay, so 896 is those two big solder pads right there. You can see right here are the labels for all of these particular components. You've got, well, I'm too shaky to even read the screen right now, but yeah, R896 is right there. And what we want to do is we want to jump those over with something metallic. Look at all the dust on this board. Geesh. Anyway, we want to jump those solder pads while applying power to the unit, and that'll put us into programming mode. Now, some people say that you can do a solder bridge across there, but I'm uncomfortable with that, and we'll discuss that, and we'll discuss why towards the end of the video when I get you over to the service manual part of this, because I wanted to know exactly what happens when you jump those. So, let's see if we can get this particular unit to remember who he is. I'll crane you down here so you can see, hopefully, everything. I'm going to go wide angle on this. Now, what are we going to use to apply a short to those two solder lands? Well, I'm going to use, and I'm trying to get this set up so I've got my hand on the power thing here. I'm going to use my long nose pliers here, and let's see if this does it. And nope, we might need something else to jump over that. All right, we'll try a screwdriver. If this doesn't work, I'm going to go ahead and do the soldering thing, even though my brain doesn't want me to do that. Okay, there we go. We got it. No model info. Now we need to program this. And this is how we do it. And that looks right there. We want the RX-V671 and we press the straight button. And it should be good to go now. So it is now programmed, it is plugged in. See if it powers up. Yes, it does. I'm going to mute the outputs for now because I want to see whether or not we've got any issues with the protection circuitry, and it doesn't appear that we do. And we're going to test this as well because I want to know if all 7 channels work on this thing. As for what I'm going to do with this, I'm strongly considering putting this in the bedroom to power my bedroom stereo, which is currently being serviced by the Sony ES receiver. And you might be wondering why I'd consider replacing that one with this one. Well, it's because I got real tired of the lack of modern features on that unit already. So yeah, it looks like this thing is working actually. I see no issues with the protection, but I'm not taking that for an answer. We are going to get into the service blah 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 blah. We're going to get into the service mode, and we're going to see if any protection circuits have been tripped on this unit in the past, because I really want to know this. Okay, to do this, we press tone and info and hold them down for 3 seconds after we do the power on. Okay, no protection. That's good. That's very good. Now, there we go. Model V671. Firmware update. I don't know exactly what I'm doing here, but that's okay. What this does is these 2 buttons scroll through the main menus, and these 2 buttons go through the sub-menus, so it's basically what I'm trying to do right now. If I can find my way back to, there we go, there's the protection, I think. Maybe not. Oh well, it's good enough for me that it didn't go into protection right away. We'll try and power it on again, and it turns on once again. Basically, it looks like I got me a fully working Yamaha receiver for 20 bucks this time, which is real nice after that Sony debacle. Anyhow, let me get a speaker and we'll try some of the outputs and we'll see if everything works. I'm not going to bother with testing for DC voltage at the outputs on this one because I don't think it's actually worth doing on this one. This one has such advanced protection circuitry that I think we'll be fine, but I'm still going to use a junk speaker nonetheless. Okay, so I think I'm ready to test this. I think I've got it running in the mode I want. Let me double check here. Yes, it's in 7-channel stereo right now, and we're going to use the Technics RSB755, which I just got done servicing yesterday, if you can believe that. I don't know exactly when you're seeing this video, but I'm keeping it on hand for kind of a rainy day situation. So let's start this playing. Man, that thing's awesome when it works. And what I've got right now is I've got a 6x9-inch Chrysler Infinity speaker set up for a test object here. I'll put it here where you can kind of see it, but, well, no. It just gets in the way there, so let's just go through these channels and we'll see what all works and what doesn't work. There might be more to do on this. I don't know. We're going to find out, though. I'll tell you what. Okay, all of those channels work. That's all 7 of them. I don't know if these are active right now. No, they are not, but that's fine. All 7 channels are working on this. I can't believe it. 20 bucks! I love it when that happens. Now, as far as why did I get this for, or how did I get this for 20 bucks? Well, that's the way it is with these multi-channel receivers. See, anytime they change the HDMI specifications, these things become obsolete real quick. And this dates from 2012, so it's probably HDMI 1.4, which means it'll support 3D Blu-ray and whatnot, but it will not support 4K. So if you're looking for a budget stereo receiver, get one of these. You don't need all 7 channels to work in order to use them for stereo. And as it turns out, this thing fully works. I can't believe it was that easy. But it was, and I'm happy. Now, what's the next step for this thing? Well, I gotta get a remote for it. If I'm gonna use this in the bedroom, I need a remote. That's all there is to it. Now, the OLED in there is a 4K model, but it, like I said, most of the time when I listen to music in there, it has nothing to do with the TV. It's just, it drives me crazy to have AV gear in there that I can't hook up through the stereo, so yeah. The Sony ES receiver does not have optical inputs, nor does it have HDMI, obviously, because it's from the 90s. So this has both optical and HDMI, so I'm going to try the audio return channel from the TV to go through this. And if that doesn't work, then, well, I've got the optical inputs. And yeah, I should be able to get the OLED to work with this. Anyhow, yeah, that's the next step. I did get the YPOW, as they call it, microphone for this, so I can do the full acoustic calibration things I need to do with this. So yeah, I'm good to go with this unit. I'm so happy it was this easy, but like I said, we're going to go over to the main rig now, and we're going to go through the service manual, and we're going to talk about what exactly happens when you short those 2 LANs together, and why I would suggest not doing a solder bridge. Okay, here we are with the service manual of the RX-V671 receiver, and right now we're looking at the self-diagnostic page, because that's what I was last looking at in order to shoot the earlier part of this video, but we're here to figure out exactly what happens when you short those 2 LANs together on the digital board. So let's go find that now. This is a very detailed service manual. I would say Yamaha is about second only to Technics and Panasonic when it comes to service information. And I really appreciate that as a technician. I'm just realizing that I had forgotten to check the firmware version, but that's okay. Okay, where are we here? I want the diagram of the digital board. This is it here, is it not? Yes, it is. Okay, we're going to zoom in, and we're going to find our 896. This is 895 and 898, but you're going to find real quick that there is no 896 on here. All right, I think I got it here. Let me see if I can get the drawing tool here, and this is our 896 right here. These are these 2 solder LANs. Now, what do those do exactly? Well, let me get my erasing tool here so you can see the actual LANs here. Basically what they do is, this is a ground trace here. I know it's not very clear by the way I'm doing my marks here, but this is ground, and this is the other side of the LAN. And where does this LAN go? It goes to C867 right here. Right there. So what we're doing is we're taking one side of 867 and we're pulling it to ground. Now what does that do? Well, remember this number here, C867. We're going to have to go elsewhere in the service manual to find that. Alright, so here we are. This is C867 right here. We've got one side going up to here, up to test point 889, which most likely is the R896 lands, as it were, because this is R895 right here. Come on, draw a line. There, that's R895. Most likely this is 896 right here. So basically what we're doing is we are taking this Y2 mode here, and what we're doing is we're pulling it to ground instead of through this. So we're taking this 3.3 volt S line here, and we're just basically pulling that to ground through this 10K resistor. And that is why I don't exactly want to leave that as a solder bridge, because that rail there, the 3.3S, oh, let's see if I can find it. I know it's on the same page. There we go. There's our 3.3S supply right there. So yeah, IC98. I don't want to leave IC98 pulled to ground through that connection full time. I don't think it would hurt it exactly, but why take chances with stuff you can't find replacements for? So that's why I would suggest strongly try to do a temporary bridge first. And if that doesn't work, go ahead and try the solder bridge trick. But don't leave it connected any longer than you need to. So yeah, that's that out of the way. So, see if I can zoom back out here. I really, really like this receiver. I like how it's built. I like everything about it. It is far better than the Pioneer VSX919 in my office, which is sitting right next to me in earshot right now, and I hope it doesn't get any ideas, but even if it does, this is a far better receiver. It uses all discrete output devices on all of the amplifier channels, whereas the Pioneer has basically just the usual amplifier pack modules in it, the cheap kind. And yeah, this is a superior receiver in every sense of the word, so I really hope it stays working now, but I think it will. And even if it doesn't, if it forgets the model number again, we know how to fix that now. It's like maybe 15 minutes at best if I'm not shooting a video at the same time, trying to keep my facts straight. So yeah, look for R896. There should be nothing there. If there's nothing there, short them together and apply power, and you should be able to get into this programming mode and tell it what the heck it is again. So yeah, that's going to be it for today, guys. I hope this video has been helpful to you. I'll see you next time. Take care.